Good morning, Dr. Royal and my classmates. Today I'm going to present on the energy outlook and energy saving potential on the country I've chosen, Thailand. The first part of the presentation is looking at energy supply and consumption. First of all, energy supply per capita can be seen showing a steady increase in the graphs because the population of Thailand increased over the years and natural gas being the top two energy most supplied has made the country vulnerable as there was a lack of electricity supply. In order for Thailand to improve on their economy, almost third quarter of carbon dioxide emissions comes from exports, hence the total energy supply considers both countries' energy consumption and their exports. Talking about the total final consumption by Thailand, this country has shown interest in renewable energy as there are a great variety of energy mixes. However, the progress are definitely not sufficient enough, hence stronger policies are needed in order to implement renewable energy as oil remains as the major sources. Efforts can be seen in reducing dependency of oil products through electric vehicles. Moving on to the emissions of the energy sector in Thailand, we can first look at carbon dioxide emissions from 1990 and 2021. A little background, population started to increase by 23%, hence the emissions of carbon dioxide per capita increased by a total of 72.4%. This value circled in red under 2021 was compared with data from the World Data Atlas and one research paper by the author Ricci, both showed a value of 3.88 and 3.7 tons respectively, close to the value I calculated circled in red with a value of 3.62. Moving on to the nitrous oxide emissions, it has increased globally. However, if you see the value, it actually decreased nationally, which showed Thailand as a large nitrous oxide emitter. Or there could also be a discrepancy between reliable global data and the incomplete national data. To further discuss on the relationship between energy consumption and its impact, we can see it as a vicious cycle of technological advancements, which tends to lead to a high energy consumption, pushing a negative feedback on the environment. Different impacts can also be seen here, such as the resource depletion, as the manufacturing sector relied on imported oil and gas from Myanmar, which may decline due to political instability. Climate change impact can be distinctively heard on the news, such as Thailand experiencing the worst flood event which occurred in 2011, which have caused deaths and economic drop, as well as the drought period between 2015 to 2016 impacted agricultural yield due to critical low levels of water in reservoirs. Several news on Thailand's environmental pollution from the Pollution Control Department has reported that the levels of particulate matter, 10 micrometers, over the last decade in Bangkok cities had exceeded the national standards measured annually in over 24 hours. Discharge of effluents due to multiple sectors deteriorated into surface and coastal water quality in the Gulf of Thailand. So the next part of this presentation, I'm going to present on Thailand's energy indicator and possible policies to be implemented. So these are all the administrative sources and some surveys I found online. Diving into the industry sector, several indicators representing the main industry sector, which can be seen having a drop in due to the COVID-19 situation. Values from EGDA data were compared with the IEA data, showing a close value. The same situation applied to the transport sector, whereby it had an increased values before 2019 and decreased onwards. Energy consumption by the residential and services sector were difficult to find. However, surveys were studied upon, whereby the survey conducted on both urban and rural areas of Thailand included Bangkok and Samut Sakhon. It can be seen that the annual cooking energy use per household were 3.4 gigajoules in Bangkok and 2.6 gigajoules in Samut Sakhon. And the majority of the space cooling involved the usage of air conditioner and fans. And moving on to the services sector, this graph on the left side was derived from an online source under CIC data, and it showed a decrease in value from 2019 to 2020, which was similar to the EDA data and the IEA data. So talking about improving on the policy, the current policy, we can improve by upgrading the vehicle registration system and associated charges that reflects actual vehicle use and improve traffic management, as well as implementing a newly proposed policy, which is known as an income transfer, which uses revenue from a higher fuel tax. So from 20 years onwards, after implementing those two policies, what kind of improvement we can see from the country will they will experience a reduction in illegal disposal of vehicles on the road and safety improved, especially in the rural areas. Instead of fuel subsidies, which has many effects such as distorting the fuel markets, large government spending, limited benefit to the poor, benefit leakage to the non-poor, we can introduce an income transfer policy which targets on specific population that will actually benefit from this conditional cost transfer program. For example, if the family needs money to visit hospitals or to pay their children's education welfare. With respect to the demographic trend, we can see an overview of Thailand's population on energy consumption. So I closely relate the reason why I put residential sector here is because it is closely related to the population as well. So to show that the residential sector consume most of the carbon dioxide emitting energy carriers, and the values have doubled from 1990 to 2016. And DEDE, which is a department in Thailand, reported that residential sector accounted for 20% increase to 51% of total energy consumption in 1990 and 2017 respectively. So as you can see on the table on the top left corner, the reason why I put this table here is to show the aging population of Thailand, which can be proven by the fertility rate decreased from 1990 to 2021. And you can see that the gap between 1990 and 2000 were bigger, but it slowly decreased. You can say it slowly decreased in terms of the fertility rate. So, but overall it's still a decrease. So aging population is still increasing. Then next we have on the right bottom corner, we can see the total energy consumption versus the population of Thailand, and I actually got the values derived from EGDA data and the roadometer comparing the effect of population on the total energy consumption. You can see that there was a slower surge in energy consumption in the 90s. You can see that this graph actually use Excel to from the previous table. I use Excel to derive it. So you can see that the industry sector consume most of the total energy consumption by using charcoal, fuel wood, electricity, and petroleum products. And transportation sector has one of the largest expenditures in households because there was an increase in the number of vehicles owned by households. Thank you very much. That's all from me.